Come on in, y'all. Happy Thursday. Let's get started with the positive vibes because you know what I say. Today is going to be a what? A good damn what? Day.
All right, son. Step two, get some good, some food in you.
We got to start that over because.
Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Hey, wake up.
Today's gonna be a good day.
And it is. Come on
Today's gonna
in.
be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up.
Today's going to be a good day.
Wake up.
Today's going to be a good day.
Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.
Ha! Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do.
The aftermath of preparation. Good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it.
Set a goal.
You control and the steps
Hey,
you take.
Reginaldo from Brazil.
Some concentration.
And if I make a mistake, it's called.
Education.
I try to do this every day and call it.
replication.
Come on.
Wake up.
Hey,
Today's gonna be a good day.
wake up.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up.
Today's gonna be a good day.
Get your coffee. Come on in.
Today's gonna be a good
See, I'm on time this morning.
Today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.
Life ain't easy, yo. I think there's a reason, though. Ups and downs, just like every different season.
I'm gonna go heat my coffee up.
Other times I'm barely breathing.
I'll be
though.
back.
You always gotta
Fight knives from the demons, y'all.
Negative thoughts and poison the rock. Head full of thoughts, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad, feeling good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken. I got patience. One day at a time. It's how you operate again. So flow, you grow, you show yourself the foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it.
What?
Wake up.
Today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.
Hey, Mark.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a
Good day.
wake up.
Today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up.
Good morning, Mr. Lugo. Yes.
Today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day. That's it, y'all. Happy fucking Thursday. Today's Thursday, right? What's it? Oh, today is Wednesday. Was I saying Thursday all this time? What the fuck is today? No, today is Thursday. Oh, okay, I had it right. Oh my God. Listen. This is what happens. Y'all don't judge me. This is what happens when you work from home. I don't know when it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday until somebody be like, oh yeah, it's Friday. I'll be like, oh, okay. When you work from home, the days slip away from you. Yes, happy fucking Thursday. Oh my God. I'm telling you. All right. People already think folks that work from home don't do shit. That's not true. Last night I went to bed. My stomach was hurting. I was nauseous. I was dizzy because I'm dealing with a spreadsheet right now that has 130,000 jobs in it. And I don't know how to do VLOOKUPs and shit like that. And I have to do formatting of the sheet and I done fucked it up. And I was stressing and I'm still stressing. Okay? Because I'm only at line 15,000. There's 130,000 lines of data that I have to look at. And so when folks be like, oh, you work from home and I'm traveling outside and I'm doing all this hard work. Yes. All right. You might be doing that, but that's the career you chose. Good morning, Deb. That's the career you chose. You chose the career where you had to go the fuck outside. And then I didn't always have the opportunity to work from home. That shit just started like some years ago. I've been working from home about 10 years, off and on, right? And before that, I had to go into the office every day. So, I mean, okay, for the past 10 years or so, I've had the luxury of what they consider luxury of working from home. Right now, it is a luxury, right? But I'm going to tell you, I work a lot harder home than I do in the office. You know why? Because in the office, I'm like this at my clock. I'm catching the 4:10 bus. I'm the fuck out of here. I don't care what's going on. Bye. And my boss knows it, right? Because my bus comes through the ghetto of Newark, right? In order to get to my neighborhood. All right. And I like to take the express bus so I can skip the local Newark stops. Listen, I'm not judging, and I know that there's ghettos out there, and I'm not saying, but I don't want to be sitting on the bus with certain elements, right? And so, 410 is the first express bus, and mama is the fuck out of there. But when I'm home, oh, you getting dressed for work, Mark? Be careful. Now I'm scared for you. After you told me what you do, I'll be scared. I'm going to pray for you. You got to go get somebody? What? You got to go get somebody, Mark? Listen, my bus come through the ghetto. First express bus, I'm out of there. But when I'm home, I'll sit on this computer for a long period of time. I'll do some extra work. I'll get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start working. They get a little bit more work out of me when I'm home. Oh my goodness, Mark. What made you apply to that kind of job? Please, God. Oh, God. Please, Lord. We thank you for this day. We thank you for being able to wake up and be given another opportunity to deal with our everyday lives, right? Trials and tribulations, blessings, all of that. And we ask that you watch over all of us, and especially our Coffee But Friends family and Mr. Mark Lugo, who's about to go to work and hang 300 feet in the air. Now, we love him, Lord. We do. And so we ask that you watch over him and you lay your hands and you carry him through this day and you bring him back to us safely. All right. And that is for the rest of us as well. In Jesus' name, amen. That was the prayer, Mark. Now I know you're going to bring your butt back home today. All right. I had to take a moment and I had to pray for you because 300 feet. Hey, Liebert. 300 feet. I sent you with your blessings, all right? Nothing else we could do. God got you. Oh, Mark. All right, so I asked you, what made you apply for this type of job? And you said, wow, that's deep. At that time, I didn't care if I lived or ... But that was 15 years ago. So you chose a job. You know, that made me a little emotional. You know why that made me emotional, Mark? Oh my God. That made me a little emotional because I feel like God knew where you were at in your life, right? And what you were thinking, right? And he placed you in a job to help other people, save other people's lives, and in parallel to that, saved your life. That's what I felt when you told me that. Like, for you to pick a job like that at a time in your life when you didn't care whether you lived or whether you died, and you chose a job saving people. What? That's a damn testimony. Y'all, don't get me started on here, y'all, because if y'all not feeling it, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm ultra sensitive this morning. But that right there is a testament. You didn't care if you lived or ... But you got a job saving people. But at the time, didn't care about saving yourself. Y'all not listening. Y'all don't see that. Y'all don't see what God did for him. You see, I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. And I do believe that there's a higher power. Yes, Mark, that is ironic. Like, I don't know why I feel like I'm the only one real passionate about where your life has landed. Like, that shit is deep. No, this is not the muzzle is off. I cuss. That shit is deep. I'm going to hug the fuck out of you when I see you, Mark. Yes, 29:11. Debbie, you better give it to them. Jeremiah 29:11. He kept your ass. I cuss. I'm not on Soul TV. I'm just on YouTube and Facebook. All right, this is why my ass. Eventually, I'm gonna put my ass on iHeart and Spotify. But I was on another platform, but I don't know how to follow rules. You see, I'm like Tyler Perry. Okay. Tyler Perry in his documentary, the one thing that you'll learn about Tyler Perry is that he controlled the dynamics of everything he did. And he didn't allow a studio or anybody else to dictate what was going on. I love watching shows where they don't cuss, because a lot of talk shows can't cuss, right? And I love it. And I be sitting there like, oh my God, how do they do that? Like, how do they have a whole big... And then I say, well, when I go to work, and I'd be like, no lies, I cuss at work too, but not as bad, not as loud, but I still cuss. I don't know. I just cuss. And so I have to go with platforms that are like, I have to keep with the platforms that'll be like, it's okay, she cuss. I don't know. I did do one show where I was challenged not to cuss. And I think I messed up once. So I almost made the whole show without cussing. But I cuss, and that's me. And it's a lot of work for me to think about not cussing, right? And I saw a meme running around that said people that cuss are smart. So there you go. All right, Deb. So I'm not alone in my thoughts about what I said about Mark. I'm so glad. Mark said, because nobody know Raw but you, a small bunch. I'll take it. Thank you. Now, can you take your cap lock off? Because I feel like you yelling at me. Can you take your cap lock off? Deb said, and we know why, because you have a genuine spirit and the world needs that. The world needs you. Yes. Yes, Debbie. How about that? The world fucking needs him. Just like I feel like it was a blessing that I met the people that I met through Coffee with Friends. Like, I developed whole new family members, right? On a platform that I started almost 4 years ago that I had no business plan for. I never thought it would be a business. I did not plan to still be here talking in front of a microphone, because I simply started with my little phone right here, jumping on Facebook and IG, talk about, hey y'all, hey, this is Coffee with Friends. I didn't have a podcast platform and people coming on like this and doing all of this, right? I just jumped on because my anxieties was fucked up and I needed somebody. I needed help. And I reached out to strangers on a social media platform that have become my family. Wow. So you see, Mark, things are not by accident. Things are not by... Mark, why do you call Deb auntie? I'm going to need you to not do that. I feel like you're aging, and I love you, Mark, right? But I feel like, can you just say yes, ma'am, to Debbie? Because Debbie is younger than me, right? Not that she can't be your aunt, but I feel like y'all are the same age. And when you say Auntie Deb, I feel like you're aging her. And Debbie is young and beautiful and energetic. And she does not need to be addressed as Auntie Deb by somebody her same age. Now, don't fight me, y'all. Just give me the thumbs up, because y'all like me anyway. I mean, we just I'm just being honest. Deb, correct me. Deb, you like that shit? You like being called auntie? I even hate it when I jump on TikTok and they be like, hey, auntie. I be like, I ain't your damn aunt. Leave me alone. What you calling me auntie for? Oh, it's supposed to be a thing that says you look good for your age. Well, okay, that might apply to me, but that don't apply to Debbie because Debbie is young. The fuck? Mark, take them damn cap locks off your phone. Peanut, go over to Mark's phone and take the cap locks off his phone. Okay, Deb said no, she don't like it. Deb, so why do you let him call you auntie? Because I feel uncomfortable. I'll be like, what? They the same age, but I be thinking maybe it's a Texas thing. But I don't hear nobody else calling you auntie. Call her ma'am. Oh, you were doing it on purpose. Oh. Oh, because I was like, do you really? Because I've heard you say it a couple of times, and I was like, oh, is this a Texas thing? Like Debbie liked that shit? Like she ain't nobody. Aren't they the same age? I be scratching my head. I be confused, but I'm learning y'all from Texas. Like it's a different culture, so I didn't know. Deb said it's not a big deal. I pick and choose my battles, but you didn't like it though. That's for sure, because you just said you didn't like it. Mark probably knew you didn't like it. He do that on purpose, like he said. Ron said, I'm sure you will not like this. I thought people that curse a lot lack enough English to express themselves. Ron, listen, you've been rocking with me for a while, Ron. And let me tell you something. I have learned, right? And I just told this story the other day, how my ex used to say that he didn't think that I was as educated or as intelligent because I didn't read a lot, right? And I stopped letting people determine my level of intelligence based on what they assess from what they see when they look at me and what the fuck they hear when I'm talking out my mouth. I am very educated. Okay. I am highly educated. And so one of the things that I used to care about is that what people thought, but I don't care anymore. And now I am the happiest I have ever been in my life. I have learned that if you do not like my cussing or the way I am, then you are not my people, right? So you need to go someplace else. And if you think that I'm not as educated based on the language that I choose to use, then I'm not your people. Then you need to go somewhere else, right? Those that know me, I didn't see anything wrong with what you said, Ron, because I truly believe that many people believe that people that curse don't have a broad, English language range, but that's not true. I love you anyway. No, I know, Ron. I'm just giving you my opinion. You couldn't change anything anyway. I'm just giving my opinion. All right. And so with that, y'all, I'm going to go ahead on and read the positive thought of the day, because people that cuss do read positive thoughts of the day. You know what I mean? Hey, Shirley. Good morning. All right. So today is December 7th. And, oh, God, I was not talking to you, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye. December is the month of peace. Amazing how Cheryl Lee came in here saying peaceful rising. And so today is December 7th, and I'm going to be reading December 7th from Until Today, Ayanna Vanzant's book, right? It's called Until Today. December 7th. I will know peace when I reclaim all the pieces of myself. One second, you guys. I will know peace when I reclaim all the pieces of myself. If you can't seem to get it together, it may be that you have given too much of yourself away. It may be that you have compromised, overcompensated, given in, or given over so much of yourself that you no longer know where all of the pieces have been scattered. Perhaps the things you thought you needed to do to get love, to experience yourself as lovable, to be acknowledged, to be accepted, to increase your value, and to establish your worth have left you splintered, shattered, and broken into so many pieces you feel like you will never be able to pull yourself together. Don't worry, you have simply experienced an invasion of the body snatchers. I'm pretty sure some of you have experienced this body snatching experience, right? Where you give and you give and you give. Good morning, Johnny Leon Hill. You give so much of yourself that you feel that there's nothing left and you don't even know what you gave and where the pieces are. A body snatcher's envision will distort the truth about you. It will make you forget your true identity. It will make you feel guilty about your desire to take care of yourself and honor yourself. It will point out the wrongness of your choices, the dangers of your decisions, the impossibility of your visions, and the fallacy of your beliefs. A little nip here, a little peck there. There is a way to pull yourself back together when you have been accosted by the body snatchers. Good morning, Ghost. You must examine all the times you gave others the right to make your decisions when you expected others to do for you what only you had the power to do. When you gave others the right to decide your destiny, and when you dishonored yourself in order to please others. Did y'all hear that? When you dishonor yourself to please others. When you remember what you have done, forgive yourself. Most important, you must say, never again. Once you see it, once you identify it, you shouldn't repeat it. That's what this said. Good morning, Hillbilly. Until today, you may not have realized that you have been invaded by the body snatchers who have been dismembered pieces and parts of your identity. Just for today, protect yourself. Be aware of the things you do that diminish and distort your sense of wholeness, worthiness, and the ability to make your own choices and decisions. Good morning, Pat. Today, I am devoted to reclaiming and protecting all of the pieces of myself that are important. Now, this message, baby, this spoke to me because y'all know my stories, a lot of my stories. I have them on YouTube, okay, alongside with my live videos, right? And I have gone through my life in the body snatching scenario, right? From young, right? And this is so interesting because it's going to take us right into the topic of the day. The topic of today, the question is, how were you raised, right? But when I read this positive thought, pieces of myself, at 56, I feel like it took me 40 years, maybe more, to get the pieces together of myself, right? Maybe I won't count the first 10 years of my life. So maybe I'll say 30 something years to get the pieces of myself together. Because at 11, I started caretaking for my brother, right? At 13, I started having sex. At 15, I was pregnant with my own child. By late 20s, early 30s, I was a grandmother. a full-blown engaged grandmother. And in parallel to all of that, my brother was constantly in and out the hooskow, and I'm his mother sister. So that means that I go to the courts, I show up for this, I'm helping with this, I'm helping with that, right? Then it went into my son having another child, more grandparent responsibilities. Then it went into, it's this, and it's that. And I got to a point in my life, I went through a whole thing in my marriage where I thought I should be this person, right? I was this holy, holy person. No earrings, no makeup, no nothing. I told y'all this story a million times. I had transformed myself a million times over and over and over again in the world of the body snatchers, trying to do and please and be what other people wanted, or I thought they wanted and needed from me. And beyond that, right? I was giving pieces of myself away because I was always in caretaker mode, never carving out the time for myself to really caretake for myself the way I was caretaking for other people. Yeah, people on the outside would look at me and go, oh, she looks like she's having a good life, right? But on the inside, I was broken for a long time, right? And this is why I say, operating out of survival mode is crazy to me, because in the times that I was broken and the pieces of myself were scattered all over the place, right? And I was feeling unappreciated, I was still surviving. I was still working. I was still grinding. I was still providing a roof and food and shelter. I was still doing those caring things as a single mom. Right? Things that I knew I had to do out of obligation. And we talked about that yesterday, versus loving versus caring. Things that I was doing out of obligation, thinking all the while that it was love. But when you're in survival, sometimes you miss the mark on things because pieces of yourself are spread all over. At 56, my pieces are coming together. And I know that sounds crazy to some people because they're like, damn, at 56, her pieces are just coming together. My pieces are coming together. And as each piece clicks in, I'm happier by the moment. That doesn't mean that I don't have trials and tribulations that happen in my life. It just means that I am becoming whole into who I am as a person. And I have learned to accept that it's okay if people do not like raw. I'm okay with that now. That's the pieces that are clicking in. I'm okay with that now. I'm okay with losing people. I'm okay with people not agreeing with my lifestyle. I'm okay with every bit of it. These are the pieces that are clicking in, right? Becoming whole. I will know peace when I reclaim all the pieces of myself. Where are your pieces? Where are your pieces? This was a daggone good message today. Don't let anybody strip you of your pieces. Step into yourself, be who you are, get your pieces together. That's the message for today. Now we're going to get into the topic. How were you raised? Why am I talking about this? Because, we've been talking about love versus caring and other things along those lines. And I wanted to kind of keep the flow of that going because based on the different personalities on the show, I'd love to know how people were raised, right? And how that shows up in their adult life, what that looks like when they're raising their children. What does it look like in their everyday lives, right? What does it look like for the customs that they carry in their family? Let's get into that. How were you raised? How does that impact or show up in your adult life, right? Because we always talk about women are supposed to do this and men are supposed to do that, and we're supposed to do this and we're supposed to do that, and I don't even know where these things come from. Right? I don't know who created these roles. I don't know where they come from, right? But the one thing I can describe is how I was raised, right? Because I think a lot of us describe behaviors in relationships based on something that occurred generations before you were even here, right? Some of you might be experiencing those wonderful things, right? But a lot of what I hear when we talk about relationships and what women should do and what men should do, a lot of people are admitting that they have not experienced a good, partnership, right? And we keep comparing it to this women should do this and men should do this and blah, 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 blah. Things that happened before me because I never saw it. Right? And this is something that I said last night in a comment in the Muzzle is Off. People expect things, but I only know by how I was raised and the things that I'm teaching myself and living life and learning through experience. How were you raised? Cheryl Lee said, this was to my cousin. Cheryl Lee said, there we go, subscribing to society. It is more proper words that are cuss words than the ones that are said. Look up the etymology of some of the words they deem curse words. Cheryl Lee, I don't let people, like the circle fuck hoe ex, he used to tell me, oh my God, you talk so loud. I was talking loud before you asked to be my boyfriend. Oh my God, you curse so much. I always cussed. Don't fucking try to get with me and be like, stop that. I posted a meme that says, do not try to de-energy me or de-notch me. Do not do that, right? See, many, many moons ago, I would let people de-notch me. And I would be like, okay. And I would try to whisper. And I was like, what the? What am I doing? I had to get my pieces together because, baby, I was letting people tell me how to be me. No. How were you raised? Okay. Let's talk about that. How were you raised? How does this show up in your adult life? How does this show up in your adult life? How were you raised and how does this show up in your adult life? Hillbilly said, my first 12 years I call my feral years. The farm animals slept inside more than me and were treated better. Hillbilly, I know. And how does this show up in your adult life, Hillbilly? Because you have a story. And I can't wait to sit around the fire and we just talk. Because I'm sure that we're gonna talk about your story again. Because I'm really, you know me, Hillbilly. I'm intrigued with your story. How does that show up in your adult life, Hillbilly? You for your first 12 years living a feral life, as you would call it. How does that show up in your adult life today? As far as your career, your housing, your everyday things that you do, your hobbies, whatever it is. How does your first 12 years show up in your adult life? I want to say for me, I remember growing up, I was a product of a single mom household. My dad was alive, breathing, but he lived in the Bronx. We moved to Queens. And the first 10 years, well, are very vague to me. Very, very vague. But by 10 and a half, I became a caretaker because my brother was born. And my mom, being that she worked 2 jobs to provide for the house, right? I was a latchkey kid, right? And I had chores and I had responsibilities. I didn't have any other siblings. So I didn't have other siblings to share responsibilities with, right? And growing up, I was angry. I was upset. But now as an adult, I understand that's the grind of a single mother household, right? But as a child, you don't know. You don't know. You just want to know why you got all these responsibilities. And so I remember from the age 11, watching my brother having chores. My mother used to put the chores on the refrigerator, right? And I had chores. She act like she don't remember this, y'all. And you know, maybe I don't know, maybe she really did forget, but this is clear to me. I remember this like yesterday, because I'm gonna tell y'all how it shows up in my life today. My mama gave me chores. I had structured chores Monday through Saturday. Okay, Saturday was my longest chore list. During the week, it was sweep the floor, mop the floor, do something like that, you know, whatever, right? On Saturdays, it was defrost the freezer. Now, back in the 80s, in the 70s, actually, okay, we didn't have refrigerators that look like what they look like today, because we don't defrost our refrigerators. I don't defrost mine, okay? But I used to have to defrost the refrigerator, and I used to have to put the hot water, boiling hot water pots in the freezer. It was an ice box type freezer. Melt all the ice, then scrape it, wipe it, wash it, and then clean the refrigerator portion out. I used to have to sweep and mop the stairs that led up to our apartment. It was about 20 stairs, okay? I used to have to mop and scrub floors, clean bathroom. 11 and 12 years old, I had chores. That's why today when I look at these kids and I be like, what? Y'all don't even wash dishes at 13? What's going on, right? And so I had a structure. And how that showed up in my life, when I thought about this question, I feel like that shows up in how I manage my household, right? I'm always on a schedule in my household. Like there are certain days and certain things that I do, and it's out of habit. And when I thought about this topic and I connected how certain things show up in my life, I think my career is a part of that. Like I say, I fell into this career by accident, right? But I have been managing programs for about 30 years, you know, program management, right? Supporting trading floors. I've always worked in technology, you know, always worked with the guys, right? Always was an aggressive hard worker. And I feel like the job that I have is organization, it's structure, it's providing structure, it's providing organization, right? It's constant follow-up, it's providing tasks, do this, do that. I feel like my career, my housing, how I am, is connected to how I was raised in some way, right? Hillbilly said, I don't need or want things. New shiny things don't help if you have to stay put to watch over them. I always thought people who stay home for the majority of the time were just waiting to die. Right, Shirley? You remember the days you defrosted the refrigerator that way? I'm telling you, I had some serious chores back then. These kids will never understand. The next question is, how did this guide you in raising your children? How were you raised? And how did this guide you in raising your children? I want to hear something really funny. Eric and I were driving past the house when we were out one day, and there were two kids out in the front lawn raking leaves. Oh, want to hear something really funny? Yes. Zen said, as we drove by, I looked at these kids and they were so not happy. So some kids do have chores today, but they still don't like it. We didn't. No, I agree. That's why I said some kids. I look at some of these kids and be like, y'all don't have chores, but you're right. Some kids, that is funny. Some kids are still out there with their chores and hating it. Thank you for that little giggle, Zen. How did this guide you in raising your children? How were you raised, and how did this guide you in raising your children? Hillbilly said, I gave my child all the experiences I could. I don't know if I ever bought her a toy. So you what were those experiences like, Hillbilly? Was it like you did a lot of outdoor stuff with your daughter? Oh my gosh, she must be ready for survival. I love that, Hillbilly. How did this guide you in raising your children? How were you raised? For me, when I reflect back, at 16, having a child, all I could think about was being free from the crack era. All I could think about was I didn't want to be like these people in the neighborhood, and I have this child. And I don't want my child to be like these people in the neighborhood. All I could think about was I don't want to send my child to the welfare daycare center. I don't trust them. All I can think about is doing everything. I don't want to leave my child by themselves when they're 10 years old in the house. I don't want my kid to be a latchkey kid. I don't want my kid to be this. I don't want my kid to be that. I was thinking everything opposite of everything I experienced. But I overcompensated. I coddled my son. My trauma is what guided me to raise my child, right? And I thought I was being, and I was a good mom. I'm not saying I wasn't a good mom, but again, survival, right? And so I'm operating out of survival because I knew the life I came from, and I knew I had to have a different life. And so I went into this 1000% survival mode to free myself. And in that, I became a shield for my son, and I shielded him from family members, from things. And then he became, rebellious, and I didn't understand why. I was like, I did everything opposite, right? I didn't know what I was doing, is what I'm fucking saying. Okay? Because I didn't know. I was raised by a single mother who was raising me out of survival, who needed me to help raise her second child. And I gave my son all the shiny things, all the toys, all the name brand stuff. And when he got older, he said to me, you know how many times I almost lost my life? He said one time I almost lost my life over the 8-ball jacket that I had. He wanted it and I got it, right? And I'm thinking, you good. Here, get this, take this. And I'm working. Now I have become my mom without realizing it. I'm working. I'm traveling. My son became a latchkey kid. Everything that I said I didn't want. But I was a single mom, surviving. Okay? That led us down an ugly path. Okay? My son ended up, like Charleston White said, sucking in the street knowledge and going with what he saw. Right? How did this show up? How were you raised, and how did this show up in your life raising your children? Cheryl Lee said, my children were raised in a strict Christian home, and I had to do all over again. I wouldn't be as dogmatic about it if you had to do it all over again. Okay, got it. Hey, Ansel. Hillbilly said, my baby girl has done everything by the time she graduated, from shooting every type of gun to foreign travel. She might not have had one of those, but she has been there and done that. And Hillbilly, you know, I think that that's fantastic. I love that. You taught her how to survive. This is what we talked about the other day about providing the basic essentials and then teaching your children how to survive in life, right? Giving them the skills that they need to survive in life, opening doors, having them explore things culturally. That's what you did, Hillbilly. That's what you did, right? When my son had his children, that's when I got into to taking the kids to Broadway shows and doing more cultural things. You know, thinking that museums and stuff. Now, I've never taken my grandchildren to museums because normally their parents and stuff do that. But this is what our parents of today should do. I remember going to a play when I went to see Serafina many, many years ago. There was this mother and daughter sitting in front of us. This little girl must have been about 8 years old. All right. And this is Serafina. She is singing this 8-year-old is singing the songs to Serafina. And I'm like, what? Open your kids up early to the arts, to the travel, to survival skills. But guess what, Hillbilly? I'm 56 and I believe that now, but I didn't know that then. I didn't know that then. Right? Me fighting against the demons of my childhood. I didn't even realize that some of those demons were still existing in the presence of me raising my child. I was repeating some of the same stuff, but it just looked a little different. Thank you, Debbie. Yes, make sure y'all hit the like button. Give me them damn thumbs up. Okay. Debbie said, I always felt like my mom did everything in her power to shelter us. We were poor, but didn't really know that. My mom made $500 a month and took care of 5 kids. Baby. Good morning, mother. Baby. Yes. You know, it's amazing because I grew up poor, and y'all heard this story a million times if y'all been rocking with me. And going to the store with food stamps, I used to cry. I used to get in trouble because I remember one time I got in trouble because I threw a food stamp away, but I told her I lost it, thinking that I wouldn't have to go back, because that's when the food stamps was them papers. The dollar bill was brown and white. The $5 bill was green, or the $10 bill was green. I don't fuck know, but they were colorful. Okay. And we were poor, and my mother was working, right, and hustling to provide for us. But let me tell you something. Even though we had those food stamps, and even though she used to say we're poor, and I remember crying and saying, stop saying we're poor. Good morning, Smokey, aka Brian. Stop saying we're poor. And I used to cry, and she was like, we are poor. But baby, we never needed for nothing. I remember crying, stop saying we are poor. But I never needed for nothing. School year started, I had all the new clothes. My brother had what he needed. Christmas came. I remember one year, the Christmas tree, because we were poor. We had 1-bedroom apartment. We lived in 1-bedroom apartments most of our lives growing up. I think all our lives, Ma, you had a 1-bedroom. No, except for 229th Street, I think we had a 2-bedroom apartment. But outside of that, we lived out of a 1-bedroom apartment, and my mama always slept in the living room on a pull-out couch. And I always shared the bed, the high-rise bed, with my brother. And I used to make him keep his bed low, because don't the fuck roll over and look me in my face. So I I remember this Christmas, we were living on 225th Street, across the street from Key Food, above the plumbing store. We lived on top of a store. Poor. This Christmas tree, I woke up. She made sure we had a Christmas tree every year. This one Christmas is so vivid in my mind because I must have had 20 board games. I swear, I promise you. I don't know, Mother, if you remember this, but I must have had about 20 board games. Candyland, Monopoly, Sorry, Trouble, all the freaking board games, right? I had dolls. I had a bunch of Christmas gifts. Always provided, but we were poor, right? And so when I go back to the question and I go, how does that show up in your adult life? Baby, there have been times, okay? There have been times in my life. I mean, besides the fact when I was 18, 19, and I was really bad off and my baby daddy was a crackhead and disappearing for days and weeks at a time, I was knocking on doors begging for food to feed my son. Besides that, even in my adult life, beyond that, there have been times. I remember when I decided that I didn't want to be with my husband anymore. At that time, I had a maid. I was living in, that was 2000, maybe, 99, around there, 1999, 2000. I was like, I don't want to be with my husband no more. Y'all know the story. And I cried. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to have to fire the maid. Now, I didn't have an expensive maid. I mean, I guess it was kind of pricey because we're talking 99. I paid her $60. She came twice a week or whatever. $60 each time she came. So that's kind of pricey. But I was like, I'm going to have to fire the maid. How I'm going to pay my car note, how I'm going to pay my insurance. And you know, I still let him go. I didn't care. How were you raised? Right? I still let him go. Knowing that my car might get repossessed. I might not be able to pay my rent. My rent at that time was $1,450. That was in 1999. My rent was $1,450. And I had a 3-bedroom apartment, 2 bathrooms in a private house. Okay, upstairs. I let him go. No money. Fearful. I let him go. How were you raised? Survival. I made it. But I won't take all the credit, right? Because at that time, my good friend Gary that lives in Austin, Texas right now, I remember I had a red Mitsubishi Eclipse. Y'all know how I got that car. I told y'all the story. Okay? And he said to me, I will pay your car note and insurance. I will help you. We were friends. That's it. That's why when people be like, you have friends, your male friends. Yeah, motherfucker. Some male friends that show up better than my man. If I had one, paid my car note and my insurance so that I can catch up and get myself together. Even gave me an American Express card in his name. He eventually took it because I overspent on it, and he cut it up and put it in the jar because we worked at the same company, and he put it in the jar on his desk. So every time I walked by, I saw my credit card cut up in the jar. I was like, that's really fucked up. He said, because you don't know how to pay your bill. I was like, oh. You know, still very good friends. I'm going to his wedding May 4th. All right. Still very good friends. Avia is his sister. Our travel agent is his sister. That's like my family. These stories are true. How were you raised? So I get it, Deb. Ansel said, if I was poor, I didn't know it because I had everything I needed and didn't need to ask for anything. Deb said Her stepdad was a horrible man. He raped my aunt and then did everything to try to do the same to my mom. My dad stepped in and told him he was going to end his life if he did anything to my mom. Wait, what? Wait, I gotta go up. I missed something. It wasn't until I got older that I learned why she did that. Wait, I gotta go up. Be patient with me, y'all. What I missed, Deb? Oh, I read that. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm caught up. It wasn't until I got older that I learned why she did that. Her story is similar to yours, Roar. She never moved a guy in, even though there were a few that really tried to court her and marry her. Okay. First of all, she is a product of rape. Never had a good relationship with her mom as a result. Grandparents raised her until she was 14 and her grandmother suddenly passed, so she moved to Houston. Debbie. You know I get emotional. Her stepdad was a horrible man. He raped my aunt and then did everything to try to do the same to my mom. My dad stepped in and told him he was going to end his life if he did that to my mom. So when my dad got on drugs and left, she did everything in her power to ensure we didn't have to deal with those worries like she did as a child. Y'all know I get emotional. Good morning, Theo. I know that's right, Ansel. I know that's right. I mean, I was working at the Bank of New York at 17. The fuck, I always work. You know, because like I said, I never had anybody take care of me. So I always worked. I don't even know what it's like to not work and make my own money because trauma-based, right? I don't want to knock on doors begging for food. I don't want to be where I was. I don't want to ever experience that again. I don't want to hide from my landlord because I can't pay the rent. I don't want to come home one day and the lights are out and I have to use an orange extension cord to plug into the next apartment next door so that I can get some damn light so I can cook for my child and get a little bit of light. Right? I don't want to experience none of that again. Trauma. And I told y'all I had the fear that my son, I always feared. I was like, please, God, the one thing that I always prayed for was, please, God, don't let my son be like my dad. Now, I love my dad. Now, I live my life out loud, y'all. Y'all know that. I love my dad. Nobody can fuck with my dad. I got my dad's soul, my mama's looks, right? But real is real. And my dad was not a provider, okay? He was a caretaker. Took care of the kids because he was always the fuck home. But he was not a provider in the sense financially. You understand? He was very dependent. And dependent still on my grandmother, his mom. And I didn't want that for my son. Ansel said, we went to town once a month, whether we needed to or not. We raised our own food. We bought things like sugar, salt, tea, and coffee. Hillbilly, you know, I'm inspired by your life. You know this already. Like, all these people on here be like, let's not go to West Virginia because we risking our lives. I be like, I'm going to go and risk my life. I'm going to go and risk my life because I'm intrigued with Hillbilly. And I truly believe in my heart and with the prayers that I'm going to be good. Hillbilly, you inspire me. You do. You have a story. Good morning. You have a story. All right. So what is the next question? How did love present itself when you were young? The topic is, how were you raised? Right? And we're going through different subtopics. How did love present itself when you were young? How did love present itself when you were young? You know, because today as adults, right, like yesterday, y'all asked me, we were talking about love versus being in love. And I was like, I don't know if I ever been in love, right? I don't know. What does that look like? What does that feel like? I've loved, I've hurt, but have I been in love? I don't know, right? How did love present itself when you were young? We're talking about how you were raised. From anyone, Johnny. How did love present itself when you were young? From anywhere, anybody, anyone. How did you see love growing up? Deb said, I'm intrigued as well, Hillbilly. I love learning other people's story and how they live on a daily. I think it helps us to be well-rounded. So I am definitely intrigued and will too be accompanying Raw. Thank you, Deb, because this is me. One of the things that I committed with Coffee with Friends is being open-minded, right? Because we, a lot of people, will get on and say, oh, all black people or all white people or all women or all men, and don't know motherfuckers in the next town, but can sit there and say all this and all that and all this, and you probably don't even know the people around the corner. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I try to keep an open mind, and I want to explore people, the world, things, because there is so much to learn. And based on 3+ years, almost 4 years, well, we're a month away from 4 years. 4 years of being on this platform, you guys have taught me so much and have opened my mind and have shared your perspectives with me that have made me alter my life in many ways. This is how we grow when we learn from each other. And Hillbilly, I am so intrigued by you. I am, because, I only know survival from the way I had to survive, but the way, and I'm familiar with the way my survival is, because a lot of people in the Black community have similar stories. As Debbie said, her mom and me have a similar story. But Hillbilly, your story is so very different from the Black community experience, right? And yet it is a survival story. And yet it's powerful. And that's why I'm intrigued, because I'm like, there is so much to learn about people, places, and things. I'm intrigued. Oh, my mother said, take care of me, Hillbilly. He said he will. He said he will. He said he will. Ansel said, I've never been in a relationship where we said, I will never talk to you. What does that mean? I don't know what I've seen people hold grudges for 5, 10+ years. Oh, got it. Yeah. Yes. Ansel, that's so interesting you said that, right? Because I'm not a grudge. I can't hold grudges. I can't. Right? But I don't care if you hold a grudge. Like if you are that, like I have people in my life that stopped talking to me, right? And I grieved through it. And I talked about that on this show, right? They stopped talking to me, but I missed them. I love them, right? But I have also learned that I need to love myself, right? And I am no longer going to accept certain behaviors from people, right? And if you don't want to talk to me, for whatever reason, right? You want to hold a grudge, you go over there and you hold your grudge. I'm good over here. But if you want to come over here and be like, hey, listen, we need to talk this out. I'm I'm all open to that too. But the one thing that I do not do is chase folks that hold grudges. Hold your little grudge over there. I don't even care. Be over there. But I'm here when you want to talk. I'm here when you want to sort things out. I'm here when you want to have effective communication, but I ain't chasing you. And I don't hold grudges. I'm that person that if I'm in a relationship and I cuss my man out, a few minutes later, I'll be like, babe, we watching this on Netflix. Sit your ass down. Right? People think I'm crazy, but I try not to hold grudges. Because it's just too much. I'm too playful for that. So I get that. Hillbilly says, Sandy, Robin will only experience awe and fascination. She will be safe and taken care of. She may come home a little different, but for the better. And that's what I'm talking about, Hillbilly. Can you teach me how to make a fire? See, y'all fucking around. Y'all see where the world is, right? Y'all see we in war, right? The government is fucked up. Okay? Listen, when if something major happens, we watch all these movies with robots, and guess what? All these robots are here. We watch all these movies with Manhattan being blown up or some big tidal wave sweeping over Manhattan. Motherfuckers got to learn how to survive. Do y'all know how to survive without flicking on the lights in your house, without opening up the refrigerator and pulling something out the freezer? Do y'all motherfuckers know how to survive by walking around without a navigation system in your car? Can you go in the woods and know where you going without a compass? See, when I go to West Virginia, hopefully it's not going to be my only visit. Hopefully I'll visit multiple times, because I surely hope when Hillbilly says I'm going to come back for the better, that means I'm going to have me some life skills, because y'all fucking around. Okay, I love watching Naked and Afraid. I love watching Survivor. And every time I watch these shits, I'll be like, damn it, I don't even know how to hunt for my own food. I don't even know how to make a fire. I don't even know. I learned that rubbing mud all over your body helps from the bug bites. You know what I'm saying? Like, simple shit, because we don't know how spoiled we are to be able to turn lights on and do all kind of shit and just pull a pot out and pull some shit out your freezer. Oh, that's my other show, Deb. My mother and I watch that too. Right? Do y'all know how to build shelter? Okay. How was love presented in your life? Johnny said, love was presented as protection when I was young. I grew up in an era and a place where the neighborhood was still a community. It was rough after drugs and guns came in. Most of our neighborhoods were. But you know, even though I was raised in Laurelton is one of those towns in Queens that used to be upscale, and then the same thing happened. Guns and drugs came in, right? But it was a housing community. It was a residential community, no projects where we lived in Laurelton. It was just all private homeowners, right? You know, and even though we had drugs and guns, let me tell you something. My mother, the big drug dealers back then was Supreme and Tommy Mickens and those guys, right? And them motherfuckers used to be out on the corner, right? Between them and the mafia, because my mother was a number runner, so, you know, she knew a couple of them too, right? They were all around. I still walked to school as a young kid. All the way to school. School wasn't around the corner. I lived on 225th and Merrick Boulevard. My school was on 228th and 3 avenues down. Okay, and these were long-ass blocks, right? And even though the neighborhood, the drug dealers was outside on the corners and shit like that, guess what? They didn't fuck with us kids. They made sure we got to and from where we were going safely. It was a community. Johnny Hill, I agree with that 1000%. Even though, like today, when I walk down the street in a neighborhood where there's drugs and guns, I'd be like, Because I'd be like, they don't really give a fuck about nothing. But when I grew up, them drug dealers, they didn't fuck with the kids. And they made sure nobody else fucked with the kids. And my mother used to walk up and down Merrick Boulevard talking to all of them. Sometimes they'd be like, Miss T, go home. It was a community. I mean, we had some shit going on, but the kids walked up and down the school and back and forth right past these motherfuckers. Deb said, in my immediate family, we say I love you all the time. It was some of the last words I ever said to my sister. We definitely had the expression of love for one another on lock. I love that. You know, Debbie, sad to say, and Ma, don't be stabbing me, mother. My mother says I love you now in my older age, right? She says I love you, right? And I remember when she started saying it, I felt uncomfortable, you know, but I love my mom and I say it back because I mean it, right? And I felt uncomfortable, but I don't remember saying I love you a lot to my son either. And it wasn't until he was in his 20s that we talked about that. And so I too, as an adult, say I love you a lot to my son. And I make sure I say it to my grandkids a lot too, you know, because again, you know, I don't think that she didn't love me, right? But sometimes we get caught up in survival. We just assume that our kids are expected to know that we just love them. Because when my son said to me, you didn't hug me enough, or I didn't hear I love you, this was when he was in his 20s. And I was like, but I did love you. And I was there for you. Like at one point, I'm responding back to him and I'm saying all this, but he's saying, but you didn't say. And I said, you know what, Robin, stop. And I hugged him. And I said, I'm sorry. And I told him I love him. I did. And I make I make better choices now. And I'm conscious on how I express that love to my family. Oh, listen, you do it all. I love it. Because let me tell you something, Smokey. You know, I'm really scared of bugs and shit. Yeah, I keep saying that because I do not want nobody to get mad at me when I jump up, slap somebody, run, act crazy. I don't want nobody to go, oh my God, why are you being so extra? Because I will cuss you out. Right? But I want to be outside. You see how crazy that is? Like, I'm scared of shit, but I want to be outside. I want to do shit. Like, I like hiking. I like sitting by the bonfire. I like doing shit like that. I want to experience camping kind of outside, but yurt style at a resort. I don't know. And I want to learn some survival skills. I want to learn how to fish. I've been fishing twice and I like it only because it's on water. But I do want to learn how to fish, right? Effectively. Because do y'all know how to get fish? I want to learn how to hunt a little bit. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Particularly because little Bambi, I might cry a little bit. But I'm just saying. And I don't know, because I tried to cook a rabbit. My son got 2 rabbits from this West Indian guy who hunts. And he gave him 2 rabbits one Christmas. And when I opened it up, it looked, oh my God. I was like, couldn't the motherfucker cut the shit up? I picked it up. It was Bugs Bunny, y'all. It was shaped just like Bugs Bunny. So I said, okay, I'm going to cut this shit. I cut it up like chicken, soaked it in lime and salt and vinegar, scrubbed the shit out of it, right? Seasoned it up, let it marinate for overnight. And I stewed that shit. I stewed it with some potatoes and some corn. No, potatoes and some carrots, baby, different peppers, onions. I just looked at it. I think I even threw some curry in there. I was like, throw some anything in there to make it taste good. This is Bugs Bunny. And I let that shit cook for about 8 hours on slow in my slow cooker. When I took it out, it was tender as a baby's ass. I took a little piece of it and I was like, oh my God, I can't eat Bugs Bunny. And I put it down. I put it all in a container and took it to my son. I was like, I cannot eat Bugs Bunny. And I threw the other rabbit away. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, y'all. I just couldn't do it. Hillbilly said, you see all these preppers on YouTube? Hillbillies made fun of them. They spend a lot of money trying to be a poor hillbilly. Prepper? No. I'm going to go look now, Hillbilly. Deb said, in my immediate family, we say I love you all the time. It was some of the last... Oh, I read that. What? Deb, Smokey gonna take us. He gonna take us and put the worm on our hook for us and put our this is all I want to do. I want to hold the pole and I want to do this. Okay? I don't want to put the worm on a thing. I just want to hold the pole and do this, right? And hold my pole or stick it in the pole holder. You know what I mean? And wait for my fish to bite. I'm just saying. Ansel said, I had to learn to stop taking my Baltimore mindset everywhere I go. Watching The Wire on HBO and explaining how and why people behave that way. Wow, Ansel. Deb said, how did your son say it tasted? My mom grew up in the country and they tore rabbit and possum up. He was like, that shit was good. I was like, ugh. And it tasted good. You know, but I promise you, I should have recorded it. I record everything. But when I took a little piece of the meat and I put it in my mouth, I was like, oh God. No, I couldn't do it. It was fucking Bugs Bunny, y'all. And a possum, them are the ugliest motherfuckers ever. Their teeth be like this. Like, them are the ugliest motherfuckers ever. And they hiss at you. I am not eating a possum. Now, I did one time eat a squirrel by mistake because my baby daddy's stepfather hunted a lot. And he cooked a lot. And so, I should have known better, but I was young. And he was making what he called chicken parmesan. And so we sat at the table and we're, eating out, we got our little chicken, crispy chicken with the cheese all over. And we cutting and we eating, talking. And he was like, how the food taste? We were like, it's good, it's good. He was like, yeah, I went hunting that squirrel. I could have passed the fuck out. Why you do that? He waited until we were halfway through our food. Why you ain't tell me this was squirrel parmesan? The fuck? Oh, okay, Smokey. But the shrimp is moving? Or is it dead? Is it the frozen shrimp from the freezer? Or is it the one that's moving around still? Because I'm not touching nothing that's moving. Okay? Don't make me... Listen, Peanut and I was on the beach. I'm not touching nothing that's moving. Is the shrimp dead? Is what I'm asking. I'm a girly girl. I'm just saying. Hillbilly, you said squirrel with gravy on it. Lord, help us. Help us. Help us. Last question on the topic. How were you raised? Thank you, Johnny, because what the hell? How were you raised? How does this impact dating/marriage? How were you raised? How does this impact dating and marriage? Or how does this show up in your dating experience in your marriage. I'm gonna tell you, I remember my husband. He was working at Cablevision at the time, right? Like, I have trauma of physical abuse. I've never been physically abused, but my mom has, and I've seen it. And so men terrify me when they raise their voice, or they're being aggressive and they're walking towards me being aggressive. I have trauma, so I react from that trauma. And some of you heard this story. I got tired because my husband worked, what was it, the 3 to 11 shift, but he was coming home 2 and 3 in the morning, right? You know what that meant, right? So I'm like, oh, this motherfucker want to come home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I got up and I put the chain on the door. He outside. Now I hear the key. He trying to get in. The chain on the door. He calling my name through the crack. Robin, come open the door. Why are you playing? I'm in my bed like this. That motherfucker think I'm playing. I ain't playing. He better hurry up and close that door. The cold air getting in here. He kept calling my name. You know why I got up and took the chain off the door? Because my landlord lived upstairs. Okay? And he called me. He said, please let your husband in. He's disturbing the peace. I said, the fuck? So I had to get up, okay? Go take the chain off the door. Right now he mad because he outside now, begging to come in the house, all right? And it's cold outside. So when you come through my door, if you come through my door and you make a left, you go into my kitchen. To the right was my living room area. So he coming through the door beefing. So I'm backing up slow and I went into the kitchen. And he's still coming. Oh, you ain't have to be like that. I said, motherfucker, you want to come home at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and not call me and tell me where you at when you get off work at 11 o'clock and your job is 20 minutes away. You can kiss my ass. And he kept beefing, but he was walking towards me. So I kept walking back because I knew where my knife block was. What the fuck? Okay, I got up against the counter, put my hand behind me, pulled out the knife block. I said, motherfucker, you keep coming near me. Okay? You keep coming near me and talking shit, I'ma cut you. Okay? He ain't believe me. Now, I truly believe he wasn't going to harm me, but he was just mad. But I got trauma. So he's like, so and so, you need to stop overreacting. He got too close. I said, fing, 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 fing. He dropped to his knees. I'm standing there like, the fuck? His finger, like this, got sliced. He almost lost that piece. Because he was holding up when I started doing this, he did this. And I said, think, think, think. But don't come close to me yelling and buffing up your chest, because I'll be scared. Y'all know I'm little. So don't be bigger than me doing all of that. Because he dropped to his knees. He started crying. I said, you want to go to the emergency room? You need me to call the ambulance? He got up, wrapped his finger up, and I remember that next Saturday, because we were 7-day Adventists, and every Sabbath, we went over to his parents' house and had lunch, right? So we get over there. Now, his mama a nurse. We get over there, his finger all wrapped up. His mother was like, what happened to your finger? And I'm sitting there, and I'm waiting, because I said, go ahead, tell. I'm going to tell him that there's some be creeping and sleeping out at night as a 7-day Adventist. He a cheater. Go ahead, tell. Because we all going to tell our truth up in here tonight. Tell him I cut you. This is what I'm thinking in my head. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking this in my head because I'm like, I don't care. Tell him what I did so I could tell him what you did, right? And he didn't tell him because he ain't going to tell the 7-day Adventist parents that he outside cheating, right? He said, oh, I cut it cutting peppers. She took the thing off his finger. And I know he sounded like an abusive woman. He took the thing off his finger and she said, oh no, this needed stitches. I asked him if he wanted to go to the emergency room. How does this show up how does this impact your dating? How were you raised? So for me, I was raised with trauma, right? And so, you know, when one of the things is when a guy is aggressive with me, I automatically think he wants to harm me. Okay. I'm working through that. Just don't be yelling at the top of your lungs. Like my ex used to, listen, my ex was, and he would be pacing. And his muscles would expand. And I'd be sitting right there by my knife block. I'd be like, stay your happy ass over there pacing. Don't come over here. But he know my history, so he never came close to me, right? But trauma, how were you raised? How does this impact dating and marriage? That's just one of my stories. Shit. Oh, he did the same thing to you, Cheryl? Oh my God. He told you it was roast beef? Venison tastes different from, it has like a fresh taste. I don't know. A gamey taste. It's different from beef. Really, Deb? You like venison? That's true, Smokey. That's true. That's true. But I wasn't in survival mode. There was other shit in my freezer. That's what I'm saying to you. That's why I really need to learn how to survive because, you know, we have grown accustomed to just getting and doing what we want. But the way this world is coming, baby, we need to be ready. Okay? I was raised in a Christian family, but my father was a pastor, and I married a man who enjoyed the patriarchy of Christianity. Smokey said, this is a good answer, Smokey. I don't condone violence in a relationship. I will never raise my hands to strike my woman. Thank you. Because, thank you. Your hands are big as shit. The fuck? Thank you. Ghost hands are really super big. Well, whose hands was... Didn't we do a game and y'all... I think Ghost fingers was a little longer. But Smokey, your hands is like thick and big. Imagine you best to not hit a woman. The fuck? Hillbilly said, it took a while to find a woman that could hang with me. Imagine me asking all the possible mates if they could hike for 2 days to go camping. Most ran away. One said, okay. 25 years later, she's still beside me. Wow, Hillbilly. So you asked possible mates if they would hike for 2 days and go camping and they ran away? Wow. I don't know if I would run. I would be the crazy one to be like, okay, but inside you might have to dig the biggest hole for me in the ground because I might have to make a lot of boom booms because I might be scared. My stomach, when I get nervous, I got a boom boom. And so take me out in the woods for 2 days. Listen, before I come to West Virginia, if we go hike, let me look up. I'm sure Amazon got portable toilets because I can't be messing with you. I'm sure Temu got a portable toilet because they surely got a portable washing machine. The hell? I know I'm going to have the boom booms. Ansel said, expectations are built when you're young. I was around couples that yelling at each other was normal and I wasn't raised that way. I'm glad you said that. Because we're talking about how were you raised. But raised doesn't necessarily mean just by your mom and your dad, right? Your environment, right? Like, to me, smoking weed was like smoking cigarettes in my family. They just smoked weed. Like I grew up, like, you know how today parents be like, oh my God, I got to hurry up and smoke before my kid come. Like, I watch my son, he be going in the room smoking or going outside smoking. And I see how everybody navigates, like no smoke in front of the kids. And I respect that. And I agree with it. Right. But when I was growing up, that wasn't something that our parents hid. That wasn't something that our parents hid. They smoked right in front of us. That was like cigarettes to us. They smoked, they drank. You know, they had parties, kid parties turned into adult parties. Friends come over, they smoking. My dad smoked cigarettes, cools, and weed, and drank 40 ounces of Old English. It was normal for my dad to say, go in the kitchen and pour me a glass of beer, or get my beer out the refrigerator, or go to the store and buy me a 40 ounce and a pack of cools. That was normal living. But that don't mean it's right. But to me, it was normal. Right? How were you raised? How does this show up in dating and marriage, right? For me, dating, I'm so weird when it comes to dating. I'm very scary, right? Probably because so many people have let me down that I just be scared, y'all, right? Because I don't want to get my hopes up and then I'll be let down, right? Because I'm tired. I'm tired, and so I have never experienced a positive male figure in my mom's life, right? And so I always vowed to myself to never settle for mistreatment or anything of that nature. And my mother never settled for it either. That's why she was a single woman, right? Maybe for a period of time she dealt with some shit, but eventually she moved on. She never stayed just because, right? And that rolled off onto me. Like, I've never been one to stay just because. Like, people couldn't believe when I wanted to leave my husband. They were like, "You're not even..." No, I'm out. He's a cheater. I'm leaving. He's a cheater. My lights was off. He don't pay no damn bills. I'm out. And so what I saw growing up, no positive male figure in my mom's life rolled off onto me in my dating, because I too have not really experienced it, and I too will not stay. I don't give a damn if I gotta lick peanut butter off my finger to feed myself. I will not stay in a raggedy, tired ass, unappreciated relationship for no reason. For lights, for gas, for rent money. That's what I learned. That's what I saw. My mother operated out of survival. And that was me. And so I reflect on my life when I go into dating. I be scratching my head. And then when I say marriage, like, I had one legal marriage in my life. And when I sit, like, every now and again, my mother will be like, "Robin, would you get married again? Robin, would you get married again?" And I tether on that. And I say, I'm not against marriage, right? I'm not. I definitely want a life partner. I'm not against marriage, but I really need motherfucker to show up for me before I even do some shit like that, because I cannot be 70 years old trying to get no damn divorce. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to still be a poker at 70. I know, Smokey, you said you don't condone violence, but I'm just saying. Damaris said, "My mom didn't work and was physically and mentally abused by my dad. He never abused his kids. I grew up saying that I will always make my own money and never depend on a man to survive." How you were raised. How does that show up in your dating and in your marriage and in your life period? Look what Damaris said. "My mom didn't work." Damn, bitch, we've been friends for how long? Golly, I didn't even know that. I'm as shocked as you were in the pool when I told you that the girl tried to rape me in the bathroom. Well, she didn't really try to rape me, When she slapped me against the wall and tongue kissed me at work in the bathroom, when I told you that story, your mouth fell off. Now my mouth is falling off because I've known you for how long, and I never knew that. I don't think I ever knew that. I love your parents. And look what that taught you, to make your own money. And guess what? Damaris ain't lying. Damaris makes her own money. Most of my friends do. Make great money out of survival. Deb said, "I just don't date. I think a part of it is our fear of being hurt, baby. But another part of me knows I will be okay if it never happens." Is that crazy? It's not crazy, Deb. Not to me. I have a cousin. who ended up going to a sperm bank to have her child because she, you know, my father's side of the family is from Bermuda. And she went to a sperm bank and she picked out sperm of a Bermuda man with attributes of our family or whatever the case may be. And she had her baby. And to this day, I believe she raised that child. That child is grown now, out of college, whatever. Never, I don't think she ever got a man. But she had a child. Right? It's not crazy, Debbie. You know, a lot of people settle for less. That's crazy. At least you understand what your boundaries are, what your needs and your wants are. And if you're not getting that, I don't see anything crazy about not wanting to settle. Your person is going to come. Peanut, nut, whose face you slapping off? Been done slapped the whole face off. Wait a minute. Wait. Been done slapped the whole face off for what? Okay? Listen, Peanut, we're going to need the portable patties. Okay, I knew. Yes, my hands are longer. His are thicker because, damn it, both y'all hands, y'all motherfuckers don't need to be slapped. Listen, ghost fingers will be like this across your face. That's one hand. If he slap you, it'll be like this, right? That's ghost, right? If Smokey slap you, it'll be like this. Listen, these MFs. Okay, well, thank goodness for that. Academy has porta potties because Mama gonna have the booms out in the woods because I don't know. My nerves get bad, but I do want to try it. Oh, I surely can't wait to get to West Virginia. Don't forget the shrooms, because Hillbilly hunts for his own mushrooms. Don't forget those, Hillbilly. Don't forget those. That might make me stay still if a bug come near me, or it might make me act worse. I don't know, but don't forget those. Oh, okay, Hillbilly. You make your own shit, but you drink your friends instead. I know that's right. What? Y'all, listen, I'm about to get taken off the map. Y'all see this, right? I'm about to get taken off the map. Y'all, let the real men stand up, because I'll be your protector, provider, and lover. Damn it. I don't even know how to act or respond to that, because I ain't never had none of those things. I mean, I've had fuckers. Lovers, I don't know. I've had fuckers. I like it. Smokey, stop that before I book a ticket. Stop that. Okay? Here, Peanut said, okay, understandable. You have to appreciate a good moonshine. I like moonshine, but baby, y'all think we were fucked up. Matter of fact, don't nobody bring no moonshine to the Friendsgiving. Please, God, no. Don't bring no moonshine to the Friendsgiving, because God help us. Damaris said, I know. It's not something I ever talk about, but it's framed the person I am today. You know I don't take shit from Donovan. Not a shit. Not a shit. But I love y'all. Not a shit. But you know what? Y'all are, I love y'all. Right? Y'all are a good example of a marriage that has gone through some shit and is solid, rock strong. I love that. Right? And when I look at your parents, because I didn't know all of that, I feel like because they've been through some shit, they still rocking together. They like, I don't know, Damaris. You're right. It's part of how you were raised. Right, Cheryl Lee, that part. Let Debbie know, because that's what I was really trying to say, but you said it better. It's admirable, Debbie. It's not crazy, because so many of us have settled for raggedy ass relationships just to say we got a man. Nope. Oh, Damaris, I got something to tell you. Where's Donovan? Because y'all gonna laugh at me. Y'all know I live my life out loud, right? So I'm getting ready to tell y'all some shit, because Damaris and Donovan laugh at me all the time. So I need you to be ready for this, Damaris. Tell Donovan, is Donovan in the office today, or is he home? Do you know? I don't know if you're at home or if you're in the office. That's why I said, do you know? So I could tell this part, because I gotta tell y'all something. I'm gonna write it down here as just to remind myself what I want to say. Cause he's working out. Oh my God, that's gonna be forever. Okay, Cheryl Lee said hand-picked shrooms. I think I'll be making that trip as well. I know that's right, Cheryl Lee. I know that's the fuck right. Listen, Cheryl, we'll have to swing by and pick you up. You in the DMV area. We'll swing by, pick you up. You hop in the car and come along with us. You know, I'm talking about hopping in the car. I don't even know whose car I'm going to be in. I'm not driving my car. My car is 10 years old. It don't look 10 years old. It's in great condition, but I'm scared now. I ain't driving my car long distance. It only got 65,000 miles on it, but I ain't taking no chances. All right. I'm even thinking I need a new car at this point, but I'm not going to get a new car for another year because I don't want to pay a car note. But, you know, I'm craving it a little bit. And you know what car I'm looking at? I bet y'all would never guess what I'm looking at. That fucking Bronco. That Bronco that looks like the Wrangler, that big old Bronco. It's about 60,000. I think I would look cute in that. I'm thinking about that. But not now. All right, so Damaris, do you want to know what happened to me the other day? You could tell Donovan. He's going to appreciate this story. So what is the one thing, Damaris, that y'all always tease me about? Stuff that I always break. What is the thing that y'all tease me about that I always break? And y'all trying to figure out, how do I keep breaking this thing? I'm going to wait. I want to see if you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to go on to my next question. Wow, Damaris lets that marinate, right? How were you raised? How were you raised may show up in your adult life, right? How you were raised may show up in your adult life. How do you recognize the toxic traits and generational curses? How do you recognize the toxic traits and general curses? And the reason why I asked that question is because a few minutes ago I said, we normalized weed smoking in our family. That's normal. Like even my uncle who do the fish fries and shit, all of a sudden all the guys are missing, right? And I go out, Cheryl Lee! Wait, I'm wondering where my son is and where all the little nephews are and the cousins are, right? They outside with my uncles. Smoking. I walked up in the crowd one day because I think my son was 16, 17. I walked up in the crowd. I said, hello? What is going on over here? What the hell are y'all doing? Wait, what? They were like, we smoking. The uncles. I was like, It was normalized. Right? How do we recognize the toxic traits and the generational curses? And when we recognize them, how do we address them? How do we address them? Great answer, Peanut. You have to self-reflect and heal yourself first. First, you have to identify the toxic traits, right? You have to recognize the generational curses. Then you have to work on yourself, right? to unpack what you thought was normal, to unlearn that shit and relearn healthier ways of being. How do you do that in a society that's constantly battling on what's right versus what's wrong? Right? How do you do that? Self-reflect. Heal yourself first. Not you smart. So a few minutes ago, I said to Damaris, what is it that you guys always joke about that I break? It's like a running joke for all the years that we have been friends. Okay, we've been friends 20 plus years. And her and Donovan still cannot understand to this day why I keep breaking these shits. My shit is broken. It don't work no more. Does this happen to anybody else? Or is it just me? It must be how I'm washing them. Oh my God. I'm just saying, I live my life out loud. I broke another one. This is my life. Like, no matter what I get, waterproof, resistant, tough, exterior, all kind of lifetime warranties, guarantees, or whatever the fuck. I went to turn my shit on the other day and the shit didn't do shit. I said, oh, maybe the battery dead. I plugged it in, no light. I slapped it. Nothing happened. I was like, oh my God. When you know you about to go and give yourself a O and your shit is broke, it mess up the whole damn mood. You be like, fuck this shit. But I didn't even throw it away because I'm like, maybe it'll work again one day. And I put it back in this little bag, closed it up, and put it in the drawer. It ain't gonna work no more. Peanut, that's what I did. I keep submerging it in water, washing it. But it say it's waterproof. I spray the shit with alcohol. I scrub it down. I dip it in the water. The fuck? Damaris. Well, I'm gonna need help, damn it, because I couldn't wait to tell you and Donovan this because you guys would understand my dilemma here. And Shirley, how dare you remember that about me? Wait, Peanut said you use it too much. I do not. Do not judge me. I do not. I do not. Peanut, what is too much? Define too much. I do not. You're supposed to change them out. I don't care what it says. You can't submerge them in water. I don't use it that much, Peanut. Don't judge me. I don't. I don't. Jesus. I have one last question, guys. You know, in between we joke and we play. But I have one last question. That's what I'm asking, Georgie. What is too much? She talk about you use it too much. What is too much? I don't think I use it too much. I'm not answering how much I use it, but that's besides the point. I just want to know what's too much. Peanut said no judgment. I'm just telling you how you keep breaking your toys. Oh, Hillbilly said real ones break too. I know that's right. How they break, Hillbilly? How do the real ones break? Damn it. Wait, Georgie said I'm looking for the charger to 2 toys now. right. You're supposed to keep the charger in a little bag with the toy, Georgie. I remember one time, this is terrible, y'all. It's not even Freestyle Friday. The battery died, right? But I plugged that shit in and used it while it was plugged in. I was like, I couldn't wait. This is terrible, but it don't work no more, so oh well. On to the next one, damn it. My last question of the show. Georgie, I'm mad that I found 2 toys of my teenager, one in a sock drawer and one was delivered by Amazon. Why did you open her Amazon package? Why did you open your daughter's Amazon package? Deb said, where is Smoke? Smokey, don't judge me. He probably said, fuck this, and hung up. He said, maybe I'm going to unlove her ass now. I'm going to unprotect her ass now. Don't run now, Smokey. Why did you open her Amazon package? Oh, you thought it was yours. So did you tape it back up or did you just give it to her? I need to know what happened. What the? She never gets deliveries. I was expecting a package. So how did you give it to her? Did you just say, here? I would be embarrassed. What changes how you were raised? We're still here. How you were raised. What changes have you made in your life that may look different from when you were raised? Georgie said, I closed it and put it on her bed and minded my own vagina. I know that's right. You minded your own vagina. I know that's right. Leave your daughter's packages alone. Damn it. Johnny Leon Hill, don't judge me. Don't judge me. Okay. Oh, all right. I hear that, Smokey. He said, that don't chase me away, breaking your toys. I know that's right. It's not me, it's the toys. I don't care what Damaris say. Okay, Johnny, I broke another toy. And you shouldn't. And you shouldn't. Please don't look for the socks in her room anymore. Oh my God. Listen, I used to find shit too. I'm in my son's room. He used to have pictures. Girls used to send him pictures of their pussies, right? All kind of stuff. And it was those Polaroid pictures, because you know back then you had the camera that go bing and the picture slide out, zing, and you fan it around and the picture come up. I was one of those mamas that flipped over your mattress, ran through your closet when you wasn't home. And so this one particular day, I went up in his room because I never wanted to have one of those kids that had drugs in my house, that had guns in my house and all of that. So I will tear your room up. I went upstairs one day, I flipped his mattress over and I was like, oh, what's all of this? There was pictures. Child, I'm not even going to tell y'all. I took all them pictures. I said, oh my God, they taking pictures of them having sex. My son was real freaky at a young age. I mean, he was already popping those girls with toys and shit like that. I seen the pictures. And they were all the same age. And I was like, oh my God, they doing the nasty. This was at 17. I was like, what the fuck? I took all the pictures. All the pictures. Burnt them shits, ripped them up with the lighter, burnt them, put them in the sink, put them in the bag, threw them in the garbage. Never said nothing to him, right? I went in his closet, opened up all his Timberland boxes and stuff. You know, you find the cigar paper from the paraphernalia. He emptying the cigar shit in the boxes because he's using it to roll his blunts and stuff like that. I emptied out all the boxes and stuff, cleaned his room, cleaned his bathroom. I used to go through this all the time. My girlfriend used to come over sometime and help me do it. He came home and he was like, oh, you were in my room? I'd be like, oh yeah, I cleaned it up a little bit. He'd be like, oh, I'm waiting for him to ask me. He said, what made you come up here and clean my room? I said, because I'm tired of this shit being dirty. I said, what's wrong? He said, nothing. I was waiting. I wanted him to ask me where his pictures were. I knew he wasn't going to ask me about shit that took them Timberland boxes. But I know he know I took them pictures to this day. I don't think he know that story. If he listened to this show, he gonna know. But I never said a word. He never said a word. Because I was like, these girls are going to be sorry that he got these pictures. So y'all mamas out there, thank me for getting rid of those Polaroids. Y'all welcome. The fuck? Listen, 70s porn was no joke. I used to love, I don't like porn now. I don't watch porn. I'm not into porn. But in the 80s, well, no, in the 90s, early 2000s, I got into porn. And I had a favorite video. It was anal sex. And I don't know why I just liked that video. And it was all about anal sex. And it was my favorite. And one day I wanted to watch it and I couldn't find the shit. And you remember they had them old, the TVs that had the little VCR connected to it. So it was like an all-in-one TV. You could just slip the VCR tape in there. So my son had that in his room and it was mounted on the wall on like this shelf. And so my son just said, go upstairs and hit the button on your son's TV. I hit the button. Here come my tape. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't know whether to be mad or embarrassed. So I fucking took the tape out because I'm like, oh my God, now my son probably think I'm out here having anal sex. And I'm not. But I just like that tape. I like that movie. And so I was like, oh my God, he's going to think I'm out here doing this shit. So I just took the tape. I never said nothing. He never said nothing. Oh my God. I was like, because my son is bold. He'll come out and ask me. But I didn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing. So I guess we were both embarrassed. Oh my God. Johnny. What did she do? What did she do? Whew, I'd have been embarrassed. I almost caught my son, but I didn't. That was enough. DJ Dub, don't be giving the eyes. That was enough. But I never caught him. I never saw his peen in his hand. Okay? I don't know. Damaris, you got 2 boys. Have you ever caught them playing with themselves? Debbie, listen. But y'all, what was the last question? Because I done fucking forgot. What changes have you made in your life that may look different from when you were raised? Exactly. We got something on each other. I know. It's so terrible. But you got to understand, like, at that point, I think I was into porn in the 90s and in the 2000s because I told y'all what happened, right? I didn't have my first orgasm until I was in my 30s. And so porn intrigued me at that point. But I don't like it anymore. I don't look at it. I don't. Oh, you never caught them, Damaris. Okay, but I know that they hear y'all because y'all nasty. Poor sons. I know they can't wait to move out your house. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. As I wind down for my show, We read today's positive thought, December 7th, because you know December is the month of peace. And today's message was really, really deep. Some of you guys didn't get the message, but hopefully you got the book. Until today, Ayana Vonzon. I always start my show out talking about something positive or reading an excerpt from this book. And we talked about, I will know peace when I reclaim all the pieces of myself. And a synopsis of that is, this talked about how you can go through your life giving away pieces of yourself, right? Overcompensating, you know, for, I don't know, it could be due to trauma or anything else. And you constantly give pieces of yourself. And at one point in your life, you turn around and you realize that you lost yourself. You don't even know who you are. You have to rebuild, right? You almost have to put it together like a puzzle. And I was saying, in my life, because I was raised out of survival, and because I've always been I started being a caretaker at the age of 11, starting with my brother. And that carried on throughout my son, throughout his children. And so I always felt like I overcompensated. I always worked really hard. I always wanted to be different than the life that I had. I never wanted to look at my son and say we are poor, even though, you know, we were. I had a maid and shit, but we didn't have money. You know what I'm saying? But we had necessities, bare necessities. I know some people are like, oh my God, you were not poor with a maid. She was $60. I was poor. Okay. I don't think I was quite middle class yet. But I did everything to try to do things opposite as to what I experienced growing up. And I overcompensated, and I gave so much of myself away that I had gotten to a point in my life in my 50s where I realized that I was broken on the inside. Like, people look at me and they're like, oh, she's got a beautiful life. She's this, she's that, she's this, she's that. Because I operate out of survival, and my coping mechanism is smiling, right? I'm always smiling. I'm always trying to think positive. I'm always trying to push positivity. It is a coping mechanism. That is something I learned in my 50s. All the while on the inside, I was broken because I overcompensated for so many years in so many areas in my life, right? That I realized that it was time for me to reclaim my peace. And all that overcompensation and all my trauma was attributed to me choosing the type of men that came into my life, right? And that's why I decided I chose to be single for, how long ago has my ex been gone? 3 years, a little over 3 years, right? And because I like to breathe in between relationships, think in between relationships, unpack what happened before I put 2 feet in the door and get into a committed situation, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm stepping into a relationship as a better person than I was before, right? Because I have to take accountability in the people that I choose. And so that comes based on how I was raised, love I was shown. But now I am redoing that love. I'm loving myself. I'm putting myself together. My pieces are clicking in, and I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm happy with who I am. And I have learned to be peaceful, right? With people who don't like raw, right? I've learned to exist in a space of happiness and acceptance when people don't like me, because you know what? You're just not my person. Friends, family, lovers, you're just not my person. And that's okay. But the one thing that I know I will never do again is break my pieces. I will not break my pieces. I will not reorganize my pieces to fit into what you need me to fit into, because I truly believe that my authentic self is beautiful. And my person is going to accept every last bit of what I have, right? Peace. Get your pieces, right? What did the book describe it as? A body snatching experience. Get out of that body snatching experience. Get your pieces together. Live your life in your most authentic way, but in a way that you're loving upon yourself and that love transcends onto others, right? We got enough hate in the world. We got enough problems going on in the world, right? And this is what I do when I get up in the morning with TikTok. I send the same message, right? And then today's topic was, how were we raised? How were we shown love? And the reason why I had that topic is because a lot of us talk about how we should act in relationships, how we should be in society, what we should do, how we should do it, right? And everybody is throwing in, well, society says this and society says that, society says that. And I'm like, oh my God, you are society. If you say something different and it catches fire, eventually society will be saying something else. You are society, right? So everything that is defined as a societal norm does not mean it's good, right? So if you can be a better person and you can do better, you can change some of these raggedy ass society norms that we keep throwing out there and saying, but society said. You are society. Do better. Just because society said doesn't mean it's right. And it doesn't mean that we know how to navigate in that space. How were you raised? What were you shown? How do you operate? How does that impact your life as an adult? And because you were raised different from me, my normal might not be your normal. Right? How were you raised? And how does that show up in your life today? What changes can you make? What changes have you made? How are your children affected by your traumas in your past? How do you heal? How do you become a better person? Johnny, oh my God. I faked like I was asleep the first time. The second time, she just backed out of my room. Why didn't you lock the door? Why didn't you lock the door? Oh my God. I remember when my mom caught me and my baby daddy rolling around on the couch. I thought my mom was sleeping because I told y'all we always had a one bedroom apartment. I thought my mom was sleeping. And my mom caught us. Oh no, this apartment, we had 2 bedrooms. We had 2 apartments with 2 bedrooms. This one was the basement apartment. I think on 219th Street. This is when I was going to IS 59, junior high school. I believe it was 2 bedrooms. And I believe it's vague to me. She caught me having sex and she jumped up and she stopped us. Well, we didn't have sex, but he was humping on me. And she took me the next day to the doctor and put me on birth control pills. I'm just saying. That was embarrassing. Hillbilly said Hillbilly. That shit is true. You make me sick. That shit is true though. Every hand you shook has had a dick in it. You make me sick, Hillbilly. Dad, you said no more shaking hands for you. Oh my God, y'all. I love y'all, but you know what tomorrow is, right? Freestyle Friday. Freestyle Friday is the day that whatever we throw out there, whatever topic we throw out, sticks to the wall, that's the topic we talk about, right? We made it to another weekend. This weekend, I'm going to be a little bit busy because I need to blend up some body butters and I'm out of hair oil and shit. Oh, next week, I'm about to go get my first retwist on my locks. What am I at? 10 weeks on my lock journey? 10 weeks? And I'm about to go get these raggedy shits retwisted. But you know, the funny thing about me is I like raggedy hair. I don't care. I can leave my hair like this and be fine with it. Okay. But I'm gonna go get the shit retwisted on the 14th of December. I'll have some, it'll be neat for the holidays, but hopefully by my birthday, going to Jamaica, it'll be back raggedy. Okay. But anyway, y'all, this is Coffee with Friends, and I am raw to the bone. And thanks to Hillbilly, we will not be handshaking anymore because you want to go ahead and fuck up the whole image. Oh! Not every set of lips and tongue had a dick in it. No, DJ. Wait a minute. No, DJ. You're saying every set of lips and tongue had a dick in it? Oh, you mean for women? For women, because not for our men, right? I mean, it could happen with the men, but not every. I'm confused. Y'all trying to mess me up. It's not Friday yet. Right. They've been on something. God, don't let your meat loaf. There go Hillbilly with the t-shirts. That's right, Georgie. Let them know. Some women don't like peen in their mouth. Or peen, period. If your lipstick, something wrong with that fucking shit. If your lip stick to something wrong. Okay? Exactly, DJ Dub. Raw to the bones, thought of the day. Oh my God. But anyway, y'all, always move with peace and love. Tomorrow's Friday. I got a stressful day at work today. Oh my God. I don't even know. I just don't want to deal with it. I don't. But I have to. I really do have to. And so I need to get my mind right. I need to get my work going. And I need to move towards ending the show. But I appreciate y'all. Give me the thumbs up on the way out. And remember, be better, do better. Always move with love, right? And peace. And I'm not saying that means, be absent from your troubles and your trials and tribulations. I'm not saying that, right? Because I used to be a person that walked around my trials and tribulations like I deal with that shit tomorrow. But now I'm learning to walk through them shit, to just deal with them and keep it going. There's some things that I'm still battling, but I'm battling them, and that's a good thing. And so with that, I'm going to send y'all out with the good vibes of the day because, I have to remind y'all, even when you feel low, you can still what?
Even when you feel low, you can still go.
And you can.
Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And I don't. This is Coffee with Friends, and I'm raw to the bone. Come back tomorrow. Freestyle Friday. Move with love and peace. Get this message on the way out. Hey, hustle hard. I be making moves.
Still I'm buried in my grave. Through the system, I don't wanna be a slave.
I've been doing shit my way or the highway.
And in the driveway is another swing. Cause I got through the climb, I invite pain.
Hey.
Bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain
anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, just believe. With the negativity, but I just
slide right by that energy.
Hey.
Even when you feel low, you can still go.
Even when you feel
slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go.
I never answer,
No, man, still
and I don't. I'm out, y'all. Peace. Raw to the bone.
Go.